My name is Tochi, full name Tochi Onyenokwe. I am a Nigerian from Delta State, Nigeria, but I live in Lagos City, and I study computer science here. That was kind of a midway decision for me. And I'm excited about the real world, man. Gonna be doing software engineering stuff after graduation. That's me, 2016, senior. I think one of the most exciting and most rewarding extracurricular activities I did was theater. It's something I did in secondary school, and it's just a mode of self-expression I love. And I've been lucky to be a part of some really powerful and influential productions here. So that's one of the things. And in my first 3 years, I was much more involved in the Nigerian Students Association than I am now, regretfully. But that's also something that kind of makes you feel at home here, because we are, as a lot of people aren't very aware of, miles away from home. And there can be a big cultural shock, as I've seen in a lot of people. So NSA was a big part of my experience here. And I've dabbled in club sports. One of my friends' legacy, the futsal club, I was a proud VP of the club, but never went to anything ever. But it's a great weekly activity that I'm going to take advantage of in my last month here. So yeah, those are the main things I've done in college. So my first 2 summers I spent in Nigeria, but the first one, probably the second one, was as a result of my late planning, of course. If I could go back, I would definitely take advantage of the opportunities Harvard gives you to travel, because that's something I could have just gone somewhere in Southeast Asia to explore and do something crazy in my freshman year. But I was lazy, and like February came and I'm like, okay, time to figure stuff out. Like, nah, I can probably find something back home. But anyway, I worked at this boring mechanical engineering firm, deal with pipes. Just sat there like watching people draw things and like, give me things to like read and give presentations on. That was my freshman summer. The second, my sophomore summer was more interesting. I was in Nigeria, but I was working at this consulting firm, and that was when I discovered that CS is something very useful. Like I came out of my classes feeling like I had learned something that I could actually apply in the real world, and that was a big summer for me, because after that I switched to computer science. I was helping develop some website that was super useful for the company. And following summer, junior year, I worked as a software engineer for IBM in San Francisco. That's where I discovered the city that I would really like to be in the US. Screw the East Coast, man. Spring is nice and everything, but winter sucks big time. I can't tell you how much I hate winter. I can go on a whole rant. This whole video can be about how I hate winter. But yeah, that was my last summer. Next year, I will be in San Francisco. Full-time software engineer. That's something I'm excited about. It's a field that I would really love to see if I love. My introductions to it so far have been great, and I'm really excited about my next year. And tech is awesome, man. You have great benefits in tech. I can also go on a rant about that, but I think the people in my life here were also important in veering me towards that path. So I'm grateful for that, I should mention. I've been thinking about this recently. You know, you're a senior and everything, and you start to get all nostalgic. But one of the biggest things, and what probably freshmen have heard a lot, is that you're going to deal with a lot of failure. Well, I'm not going to generalize and say that about everybody. There's some truly amazing people here who just succeed at everything. But it's a big change from most of my life, I have to admit. And it's made me much more aware of my limitations, which is an incredibly humbling experience, but also difficult to go through in the moment. So I think something that I've taken from college is that failure is a part of life, and it takes a great amount of skill, and I believe that is even more admirable to come out of a disappointing experience stronger for it, with the mindset that, hey, this is okay, I may not be great at this, but I now know that, and I know what I did wrong. Or there are many ways you could draw positives from negative situations, and that's something I learned a lot in college. So that's in many different fields as well. It's not just academically, it's socially, in a lot of ways. And I'm really grateful for Harvard for giving that to me. I don't know if I'd gotten that anywhere else, but still, I mean, I'm grateful that I got that experience regardless. I think I didn't take advantage of the career services in my first 2 years as much as I could have. They definitely proved helpful my junior year and obviously senior year as well. I really hope freshmen realize the value of that. It's a big help, and we are very lucky to have a college that's going out and out to try and find things for us and give us the right springboard. That's not necessarily prevalent across the country, across the world. So that's something you should take advantage of. Another thing that I haven't really used myself, but for which I've seen a lot of people gain a lot of benefits from, is the school's mental health services. And I think there may be some kind of stigma associated with that, but if you ever feel like, which is, everyone probably has a period in college where they feel like they don't want to be there, and sometimes it's nice to get to talk to people who professionally know how to deal with that. But obviously your friends should be a big part of making you feel comfortable here and connecting with other people and sharing your experiences. But so those two resources, the career services and health services, I suppose, are two things that are critical here. I think people should realize that they're there as freshmen, because that could take a while to grow on you. So know that, keep that in mind as you come in. Don't do engineering, bro. Don't get on it. I'm kidding, man. Everybody has their thing. So if you feel like engineering is your thing, do that. But I guess what I would draw from that is to say, explore. Take the time to explore, and not necessarily spend your whole time here exploring, because that doesn't work out for everyone. But don't feel pressured into something, even if you don't necessarily feel the pressure from other people. I just expected myself to be an engineer, and so I was taking these classes which I didn't love, but I was like, man, no, I was good at physics, I was good at math, I want to be able to build things for my country, and this is what is expected of me, without anyone actually ever telling me that. So sometimes pressure can come from yourself, but take a moment to peep around. Like, that's something I feel a lot of people didn't, not a lot of people, some people didn't do, and it's coming back to bite them senior year, and it could be a big source of unhappiness. So that's one of the things I would say, explore. Not just academically and professionally, I mean extracurricular activities as well. What could I have done here? I could have done gungru or something, and I never really did that. I've always been afraid of dancing. I feel like I have like weird limbs and it looks awkward, but I feel like people should get out of their comfort zones more. You never know, you might just discover something that is the best discovery of your life. How would you know if you don't try? Shout out to my friends, yo. Shout out to all my friends. I think they're a big part of me staying grounded. And also my roommates, some of my roommates were a big part of me leaning towards CS. 3 of us are CS. I know many conversations like them trying to convince me that this is the way to go, dude, engineering, you're not going to find anything. But that shouldn't be something people should always consider, but it did give me that push to at least consider CS. And so that's a big deal for me. So seniors, and I think one shout out I'd like to give, just randomly popped out into my head, is the Nigerian freshman girls in the freshman dance team. I love those girls, man. Like, I can't tell you how proud I am that they perform their eleganza, they perform their cultural rhythms, they're doing big things as freshmen, you know. So yeah, that's just a random shout out that came to mind. Yeah.